Hi everyone, welcome to my channel. So today I am so excited because I just got some new palettes in the mail and I am so excited to test them out for you all today. So for Black Friday, Sigma released a couple different palette bundles and I decided to pick one up because it was my top 3 palettes from them and I was just so excited about it. So the 3 palettes that were included in this bundle were Sigma Enchanted, Sigma Untamed, and then the Cinderella palette, which is their newest palette. So I'm going to be testing all of these out for you today and I am super excited to try them. I have never tried Sigma's formula before, but I've heard so many good things. So I'm very excited. But just a couple other details on this collection. It does retail for $73, which is basically half off if you were to purchase each of these palettes individually. But I believe it is only shipping to the US and Canada. And as of right now, it is still on their website, but I am filming this a few days before I'm posting it, so I'm hoping by the time I post it, it will still be available if you are interested in picking it up. So now we can take a look at the inside of each of these palettes if you don't know what they look like. Mine are completely untouched because I just got them, but I will start with the Sigma Enchanted palette. It is so pretty. And here is what the inside looks like. So each of these palettes has 14 different shades and a mix of mattes and shimmers. This one has been on my wish list. All of these have been on my wish list since they came out. And I am just so thrilled to have them in my collection finally. This one has a bit more cool tone, purple green shades, and I'm so excited about this one. I want to say this one is my favorite, but honestly, I don't know if I can choose a favorite out of these 3 palettes. The next one I have here is the Sigma Untamed. So this one has the velvet stripes on the packaging. It's super pretty. And then you open it up and here are the shades. So once again, I love the color story of this one. I seriously have just all good things to say so far. Just looking at these palettes, obviously I have not tested them yet, but I am just so excited to. And yeah, I don't really know what else to say. They do each come with a dual-ended brush, which is super nice. I have never tried Sigma brushes either, so I'm super excited to test those out. They are all the same brushes in each of the palettes, but that's fine by me. Then the final palette in this little collection is the Sigma Cinderella palette. So this is their newest palette that they just came out with, and if you have not seen any videos on my channel, I love Disney collabs with makeup brands. I have the entire I Heart Revolution and Disney palette collection so far, and I think it's so fun when brands collaborate with Disney, especially the Disney princesses. It's just, I'm a sucker for them. I love them. So this is the Cinderella palette, and here are the beautiful shades inside of this palette. I absolutely love them. I like that they didn't go like completely blue with this palette. There are definitely some neutral shades in here, but there are those fun pops of color. And that's what I loved about this entire collection, is you get such a good mix of the neutrals and the colorful shades. And currently that is what I look for in my palette. So I'm just so excited about all 3 of these. So those are all 3 of the palettes that are in this collection, and I am planning to create a look with each of them in this video, so it is going to be a bit of a longer video, so make sure you settle in, grab a snack, and we can just jump right into it. Alright, the palette I want to start with is Sigma Enchanted. I am planning on just going in the order that they were released. So starting with this one, Untamed, then Cinderella. If I remember, I will link the timestamps of the start of each look down below in case you are only interested in one palette. Or if you would like to watch all three, that would be greatly appreciated. So the first shade I want to take is Innocent, and I'm just using this on the fluffier end of the brush that came in this palette. So just picking up a little on the brush, I'm just going to start running this through my crease. And just slowly start building this shade up. It is a pretty light mauve-y pink shade, so it is going to take a little bit of building, especially on a fluffier brush. But it is getting there, and this brush is so soft. If you haven't tried Sigma brushes before, like I haven't, I'm so far very impressed. So this shade is just providing a nice little wash of color through the crease, which is really nice. It's not super dark or pigmented, but it does look pretty close to the color that is in the pan, so that is always nice. I do wish there was a little bit more depth, but I'll be able to build up more depth within this palette with other shades, so it's not a huge deal. So the next shade I want to take is Loam. And I'm taking this on, it's still a fairly fluffy brush, this one's from Wet n Wild. And I'm just going to start deepening the crease with this shade. And just bring it all the way through the crease and blend the two together. And then once I have this color down, as I do with all of my looks, I'm going to go back into the previous shade, which was Innocent, and just blend out the top edges of the crease, just so everything is nice and blended. Alright, the next shade I want to dip into is Evergreen. And I really want to add some green to this look. So I'm just taking this on a very small pencil type brush. And I'm going to start focusing this right in the outer corner. And just working really slowly with this shade to build it up and get it right where I want it. And I'm also going to be very careful when blending this in with the crease shades, since they are purple shades and not lighter greens. They're going to be a little bit more challenging to blend out or blend together, but I think it'll be okay. So I'm just working on building this shade up right in the outer corner and dragging it slightly into the crease. Just using super small motions. And these shades aren't super pigmented to start out with. They do take some building, which personally I enjoy because I don't really want my shades to be super pigmented right off the bat. But I am happy that they do build up to a good pigmentation. So once we have that shade, I'm going to take the previous two shades and just slightly start working on this outer corner into the crease to blend together. And I'm trying to be as precise as possible with these shades and just using really small circular motions to blend them together. I'm focusing mostly on the outer corner and then dragging in slightly when I have less product on the brush. So next I'll go into Innocent and just do the same thing, just a little bit higher. And just get everything nice and blended. These shades do seem to be blending really nicely together, and so far what people have said about Sigma's formula is true. It is super nice. So I'm just going to work on building up the green shade and then blending them together, and I will be back with the lid shades. Alright, next we're going to take the shade Cosmos, and this is a beautiful shimmery green, and I'm just going to start with this on a dry brush and pack it right where the outer corner shimmer or outer corner matte meets the rest of the lid. And you can see the shade packing down okay, but I'm thinking I might want to go in with either my finger or a wet brush. I think I'm going to try a wet brush first. So I just pick up a little bit of the product on the brush and then I just spray it. And I found that water works perfectly fine for this. I know a lot of other people use setting spray, but I've just found water works perfectly fine. And you can already see it's packing down better than with just the dry brush. I am just going to take a little on my finger just to see the full impact, because that right there is stunning. And I'm only packing this right in the center of my lid because I'm going to go in with another shade. So next I'm going to take Metamorphosis right here and just look at the shift in that shade. It is so pretty. So I'm just going to start with this one on my finger. And this is going to go in the inner portion of my lid, tapped up to meet Cosmos. I feel like this one might be more of a topper shade than just a standalone lid shade, because you can see when I start tapping it over the Cosmos shade, it gets a little bit of a different shift to it. And you can see a little bit in the inner corner of the shade if I turn my head the right way. But I'm going to go back in with some of Evergreen and just redefine this outer corner and tap over where these two meet, just so we get that nice depth out here. Still want you to be able to see these shimmers. So next I'm going to dip back into Innocent, and this is just going to go right along my lower lash line. I typically don't do anything super crazy for my lower lash line. I just like a little wash of color. Then for the inner corner, I'm going to take the shade Sunburst and just use this one to brighten the look like I always do. And that will complete this look. I'm going to go add some mascara and I will be right back. Alright, here is the final look. And for this look, I used my 5 Cosmetics Liquid Lash Extension Mascara. So as a first impressions, I'm really loving this palette. I think it is going to create some beautiful looks, and I do really enjoy how this one turned out. I feel like on camera it looks not as well blended as it looks in person, but I'm not sure if that's just the view I'm looking at it from. But in person it does look really nice and blended together, and I am very impressed so far. The shimmers definitely apply best with the finger, but I feel like that's typical for most shimmers, so not really a big surprise there. But overall, I'm really happy with how this one turned out. I love the mix of the more purple tone mattes with the green shades on the lid, and I just really like this color combo. So let me know what you think of this look down below, and we can just jump right into the next one. Alright, the next palette up is going to be the Sigma Untamed palette, and of course this is what it looks like. Lots of beautiful shades. So I think for this look I want to use some of the more red tone shades in this palette. So I'm going to start with this shade right here called Instinct. And I'm just taking the fluffy side of the brush that came with the palette, and I'm starting kind of higher up in my crease, and I'm just gonna work on building this shade up. And this is just gonna be a nice little initial transition shade. And I'm bringing it out a little far in my outer crease. We will build up more shades with it. And this shade seems to be really nice and pigmented right away. It didn't take too much building. It just gives a nice color to the crease. Alright, the next shade I want to take is this one right here called Feral. And this is just on a slightly smaller fluffy brush. I'm going to tap off some of the product because I want to slowly start building this one up. And I'm just going right above the lid with my eye pretty much open all the way. And just slowly kind of drawing a line with this brush, and then we will blend up with it. I'm also going to dip back in with a little bit more of Instinct to blend out the very top of the crease. Alright, now on a very small sort of pencil brush, I'm going to take the shade Rebel. And I'm basically just going to do the same exact thing that I did with Feral, but slightly lower in my crease. And just really work on defining where I want the crease to be. So I'm just barely dipping my brush into this shade and drawing small lines where I want to place the shadow. And once again, going back in with some more Instinct to blend out the very top of the crease. And I'm just going to go back and forth with these shades until I get the desired look. Alright, now I'm going to cut the crease a little bit. I was kind of trying to avoid this, but I think it'll just look better. So just take whatever sort of concealer you have and just start drawing a line up through the crease, up to the crease, I should say, just to clean up some of the shadow that got onto the lid. Alright, next I want to take the shade Hustle, and this is going to just be packed down on the lid where I cut the crease. And I want to start with a brush. I have learned from the previous palette that these do work best with the finger, but I want to just lay down the shadow with a brush first so I can be really precise with the placement, especially when drawing up to this line up here. This is going to be a bit of a more neutral look, but this palette can also do more fun, colorful looks. I was just super drawn to these red shades, and I really wanted to test them out today. But I do have plans to do more fun, colorful looks with this palette. With that said, if there is one of these palettes you want me to do a specific video on, please let me know. I would love to create more looks with them if that is something that interests you. So I'm going to take this on my finger as well, because look at that. It's stunning. And we're just going to pack this down all across my lid. And I'm trying to still be as precise as I can be with this shade, but it is a little bit harder in the smaller areas on the lid to get my finger. But the shade is really pretty. Now I'm going to go back in with that little pencil brush that we were using in the crease with no additional product and just run this right along the top of the crease, or the bottom of the crease, top of the lid, just to make sure this line is nice and defined. Alright, next I want to take the shade Wicked, and I'm going to take this on an angled brush. And I am going to wet my brush a little bit with this shade, just because that will help this stick better right where I place it. And I'm going to follow the line that I made with the cut crease, and just try and be as precise as possible when creating this winged liner. I love to use eyeshadow as liner. I just feel like it's easier to control, at least for me, and it's not as harsh as a normal liner would be, and it just gives a nice look. I've really been enjoying it. So I'm just going to connect this all the way across the upper lash line and fill it in. And this does seem to be a pretty pigmented black, which is very nice. Just getting right into the inner corner. Then once more taking Rebel. This is going to go along my lower lash line. And then like we did in the crease, I'm going to blend this out with Instinct. Then for the inner corner, I'm going to take Spirit. The shade looks stunning. And I'm just going to pack this down. and just work on building it up in the inner corner. It's really cute. So that will do it for this look. I am going to go add some mascara and I will be right back. Alright, here is the final look. So this one is, like I said, a bit more neutral than the other ones in this video, but I do think it turned out really pretty, and this is the type of look that I'd like to wear on a daily basis. So this is one I feel like I will get a lot of use out of, and I just really have been enjoying these shades. I do wish the shimmers packed down nicer with just a brush, but using my finger isn't a huge deal, and it does look really pretty with the finger, so that is just something that I'm gonna have to do with these palettes, but it's not a huge deal. So let me know what you think of this look, and we can jump into the final one. Alright, last up is gonna be my Sigma Cinderella palette. And the first shade I want to take is Kindness. So this is the matte purple shade, and I'm taking this on a bit of a fluffy brush because I want to diffuse this in my crease quite a bit. The one thing this palette doesn't really have are lighter matte shades to blend out some of these darker ones. There is the shade Pumpkin, but that is a matte orange, and that is the lightest shade in this palette. So I'm just gonna try and use this one shade to blend itself out and see how this works. For starters, I am happy with the pigmentation, and this does seem to be a pretty buildable formula, which makes what I'm trying to do easier. So I'm focusing this in the outer corner as well, and then just blending up with little circular motions. And just trying to get this to blend right at the very top. You could also just take a shadow from a different palette to blend this out, but I wanted to try and just stick with just using this one palette, and I think it is working fairly nicely. Alright, next I want to take the shade Hopeful, and I'm going to do this one slightly lower in the crease to start deepening. This is pretty pigmented to start out with. So I'm just going to try and work in blending these two shades together, focusing mostly in the outer corner and bringing it in slightly. And I did have down a pretty heavy powder base when I started this look, so I'm hoping that these shades are going to blend nicely on top of that, but if they don't, that could be why. But for the most part, I think these two seem to be blending together. They are obviously different colors, so that's going to make it a little bit more difficult. But I am just gonna go back and forth between these two colors and work on blending them together. Alright, next I want to take Mischievous right here. So this is the matte black, and I just want to dip a little bit into the shade and just deepen up this outer corner right here. So I'm just working really slowly with this product and starting to build it up just right in this outer corner, just to add a bit more depth to this look. And then, like I usually do, I'm going to go back in with the previous shades and just blend out, just so we can try and get a nice seamless look. Alright, the next shade I want to take is Bippity Boppity Boo. And I'm just going to take a little bit of this on my finger. And this is going to go kind of in the center of my lid, blended in with the outer corner shades and over slightly, but still leaving a space on my lid in the front for another shade. And I've heard these shades work well with glitter glue, but I currently do not have any. So I'm hoping a finger will work nicely. And you can see the nice reflect of this shade. So I think it is performing pretty nicely. Next, I want to take One of a Kind. And this is also going to be right on my finger. And this will go in the front portion of the lid. These shades feel almost like topper shades, but I feel like they pack down pretty nicely. Alright, then for my lower lash line, I'm going to take some more of Kindness, which was that first purple shade we used, and just very lightly run this along the lower lash line and connect it with the outer portion of the crease. Then for the inner corner, I want to take the shade Wishful. And I'm just going to pop this right there, just to slightly brighten up this look a little bit. And this is a really pretty inner corner shade. So that will do it for this look. I'm going to go add some mascara and I will be right back. Alright, so here is the final look. And for this look, I used my Wet n Wild Max Volume Plus mascara. So overall, I am happy with how this turned out. I really enjoy the performance of these shades and how buildable the mattes are. I am excited to continue to play around with this palette and test it out. I do wish the shimmers in this one and all the palettes were a little bit more impactful and I didn't have to just use them with my finger. I would like to see how they do perform with glitter glue, but I need to go get some first. But overall, I am really loving these palettes. I think my favorite look out of the three was the one with the Untamed palette, but let me know down below which look was your favorite and which palette is your guys' favorite as well. And if you would like to see a more dedicated look with any of these palettes or any other suggestions you might have for me. Give this video a thumbs up if you did enjoy. Be sure to subscribe so you don't miss out on any of my future uploads. And with all of that said, I will see you all in my next video. Bye!